guys, bom dia, Rafael, Jackson, Dr. John Hoffman. Dr. John Hoffman. So we invited John Hoffman because the story that he has behind with the knee injury, with back injuries, it was incredible. And this is for people that is thinking about jiu-jitsu and they have injuries here and there, they're stuck there and trying to think if they wanted to do it or not. You have to listen to it, so that way you have that motivation to go. This is super inspiring, and I appreciate you for coming in. And for someone that knows only stuck, but it went to the martial art route, they tried, they got injured, and they're thinking about to go back or not. This is something that works in both people.
Yeah, it was very good to share John Hoffman's story. He's 57. He been training next month. Not yet. Next month he's gonna be 57. So he's still 56 years young, very young mentality. Really overcome 2 injuries during the path of jiu-jitsu. Unluckily, he got injured twice. Not in jiu-jitsu, but I think he used jiu-jitsu to overcome these injuries 100%. And use as motivation to go over and come back and teach us that life, it's hard. It's hard out there. We have a lot of downs that come in front of us. And that's why we invite John here to share his story and share how he do it, how he don't let nothing stops him. And he always in class, always sharing good energy with us. And it was a very big pleasure to be with him here. Yeah. John, what else you have to say to us today to finish?
Just really enjoyed jiu-jitsu.
Yes.
Glad to be part of it.
And if you never tried jiu-jitsu, you're missing it. Is that true or not? You are missing it. Yes. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for coming, John. I appreciate it.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, so to start the whole thing, we just came for training. Jackson invited us in and said, like, we have to tell the story from John and from these whole months of his... This happened last year? Last year when you came back, right?
October of 2018.
18, and then 17 is when it happened, correct?
No, I haven't done 18.
18.
Yes.
So at the beginning of the year.
That's right.
So to give a little bit of context before we start about the whole story, so John is gonna give a little context when he started jiu-jitsu and what you do like personally and what exactly drove you to join jiu-jitsu apart from, because you have a martial art background already. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've been doing martial arts for about, over 10 years with Goju-Ryu karate. Mm-hmm. And my karate teacher, Shion Ehab, introduced me to jiu-jitsu. Mm-hmm. And so at first I really didn't like it. Really not comfortable, and people on you and you're gassing out. And I really didn't like it, but the more I learned about it, the more I enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. And so I still try to do my karate, but I'm doing the jiu-jitsu now and really enjoying that.
And that's when Jackson was there inside the karate dojo, right?
That's right. That's when I met
and
Jackson.
That was 2016.
2016,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
I went to teach some classes there and I met John. John immediately showed his passion for martial arts. Mm-hmm. And then talk with his karate master. His karate said, "Hey, John he's really dedicated student.
Really into it.
He been in karate for many years, and no doubt he transferred that same energy to jiu-jitsu." And we met there. And John have a very interesting story in jiu-jitsu. I'm very proud of all the walls that he broke in to keep practicing and bringing good energy to the mats every day. All the efforts, we all have to do it. We all have to put this extra to attend the classes and be there. And John is gonna share with us some of his barriers that he met in the jiu-jitsu path, and all the advantages he took, and everything what he learned, and everything what he taught us. And one of the reasons I thought about inviting John is for the perseverance that he puts in the mat, even through like some hard times that he have during the journey. He always come back better than when he left. And I would like you to share that with us today.
And John, and when you share as well, like the type of life do you have? Like you have a normal 9 to 5. Like you're, I believe you're an engineer, correct?
No, I'm a tax partner with a international accounting firm. So I do a lot of in the energy industry.
Okay.
And so I'm in the office all the time.
All the time,
And so it's easy to be sedentary in that lifestyle and not really get a lot of activity, but it's a high stress job, like a lot of people. And so that's one reason I like doing jiu-jitsu is because outlet for really relieve stress and try to stay in decent shape. Instead of just sitting there behind a desk and you know, really not doing kind of energy or any kind of physical activity.
And you always been active since little, or you just started that because you saw like I can't stay stuck here.
You know,
in the job,
I've
just sitting.
you know, I really didn't get into martial arts till I was in my late 40s. You know, I'll be 57 next month. And
That's amazing.
my
Incredible.
kids, when they're in their 20s now, but when they were teenagers, they took karate. I always enjoyed it, but I was caught up in the job, didn't have time to do it.
Yeah.
And then finally, I started taking. This was in New Orleans. We lived in New Orleans. And, Hurricane Katrina hit New Orleans, so then we moved to Houston. And I'd started to take karate when I was in New Orleans for about a year. Moved to Houston, then life happened. And
Life happens.
probably about 5 years later, I said, well, I always liked karate, so I'm gonna go do it. So I went and started taking karate, really enjoyed it. And it's good stress relief, good camaraderie. I like people that, you know.
You did karate for 10 plus years now.
Yeah, that's right, that's right.
Incredible.
So I really enjoy it. Some people like doing golf or tennis or something. I don't like golf, so I'd
Personalized.
Everybody have their own hobbies,
Now that you have that trajectory there, and then we have that path that you went through, like 10 plus years in karate and everything, what happened last year that made you stop for a couple months? Like it was like 10 to 11 months, I think.
Yeah, I was out for,
So
I was, we were doing testing for karate, and I was doing a tomonagi throw, which is where you put your foot into the person's hip and roll back on your back, and it was a loud pop. And that was my knee. At first I thought my knee hit his chin or something, but it popped and didn't feel too good. And so my kneecap basically was up on my thigh.
Wow.
And so I knew that was going to be a long fall back. And so, you know, went and had surgery, and they said it'd be a long recovery, and it was. And so I went to, you know, had the surgery, went well, and then I did physical therapy for about 10 or 11 months, where I went twice a week. And so it was an experience. I mean, it was a lot of good things, a lot of bad things that happened during those 10 months. But during then, I couldn't do karate, I couldn't do running, I couldn't do, you know, anything stressful on my knees. And so that was a little bit different when I was used to going every week and doing some type of karate.
And that's very hard to, when you cannot move and you usually should do your physical activities and then you cannot move. That's related to other downs in life. You start like to get stressed and you know, anxious about many things. That's happening to me, you know, like when I cannot train, I cannot move.
That's
your mood changes
you
a
get
lot.
cranky.
I miss my friends.
But in one of the important things that always I'm super curious when people go through this is the first couple of months, and the first couple of months of adjusting, of not moving much. How was that for you?
Yeah, that was tough because for about the first couple of months it was in a immobilization brace, and so I couldn't drive because it was my right foot. So really it was a lot of times in the chair, and then the physical therapy was really just trying to bend your knee, and it was, you know, first come bend it all and just baby 20 steps. Degrees and baby steps.
Super baby steps.
And so especially, and it was painful during those first few weeks after surgery too, so it was just a little bit depressing because, you know, you thought, boy, how am I ever going to get back? So it helped a lot. I mean, and just for instance, Jackson, you know, would send me texts every once in a while. My karate teacher would send me texts just to kind of remind me, hey, there's some light in the tunnel.
For you,
And so then I decided I was going to be there for the long haul. And you know, my wife's a little bit worried about me going back to karate, and I said, well, and jiu-jitsu, and that's why I said that's my goal, is I want to get back to the mat, so I want to get back to training. Because frankly, I was afraid if I didn't, then I never would do it again. I thought if I didn't do anything for a year, then I just probably would never get back into the physical activity, and I didn't want that.
The whole momentum is lost,
So that was kind of my goal, was to get back to training in jiu-jitsu and karate, and even the physical therapist, we started at the end doing things geared toward that.
So how was your routine going through the whole phases, right? So how was your first quarter, 3 months, 4 months? Well, how was that beginning? Then how was the second one? Because you have like little wins in between that you were like getting faith. Oh, getting hope, like I can come back.
Yeah, because you know, I'd go on. I have my schedule of Monday and Fridays. I go to therapy in the morning, and in the first, it was very much like literally trying to bend your knee, trying to do little baby steps. Then it started getting a little bit better, and then they start doing some, you know, light on the stationary bike, starting to do some balancing on one foot and baby steps like that. And then gradually it was getting better, and you know, starting to do some weights and things like that. I do remember, I must have been around 5 months, I was starting pretty good, doing little box jumps on little foot, you know, things, trying to do a lot of squats, RDLs, that type. But then one time I was walking around the neighborhood, and I remember I stepped on a nut, a little like a pecan type thing,
Yes, I remember
and it
that.
straightened out my knee, and that put me back 2 months probably. And that was really depressing because I could see the progress going, and then all of a sudden,
then,
man,
like-
all that stuff I was learning how to do, it backed me up
Right,
probably about a month or two,
right.
just by a little freak, you know.
You can have been
accident.
like,
Life checking
Yeah.
you, like, let me see how tough you are, John. Let me see how much you can handle.
But that's why I always took the long, you know, the
Yeah.
approach that, hey, I want to do this, and I didn't want to go back to training until I felt comfortable.
Yeah.
And,
you never were like in the mindset of like it has to be now. Like
No, that's right.
I know you're gonna take
Yeah.
some time.
That's right.
So just let me go every day to what I have to do, and then it will get there.
Yeah.
And what was the moment? And you mentioned it briefly. What was the moment that you feel like I know I will recover? What was that moment that felt for you? Like some exercise. It was something that showed you like, oh, I'm close.
Yeah, it was, you know, we started doing like some box jumps onto mats, and I said,
Right.
well, I can do this.
Right.
And starting to do, and toward the end, it was more of a workout at physical therapy, because
Yes.
they're, you know, the more I could do, the more they push you. And so it was really, at the end, it was almost like
A gym
trainer,
workout.
gym workout.
Yeah.
And so that's when I did it. And then I remember when they had the treadmill, and when I was able to run a mile on that, I thought, well, okay, I can start getting back
The
there.
impact with the knee.
Because the running was real hard, because the impact on the knee,
Right.
that was one of the later things to you
And
know,
and right now you feel like 100%, John. You feel 100%.
you know,
again?
yeah, it's still tightens up a little bit
Right.
when I sit on my knees. It's you know, my heels rather.
we
It's
see
not quite
we see
there.
you stretching always.
Yeah,
like
and
that.
so that part, but that might, you know, it's part of being older too. That might be part of that.
Yeah.
And but now, like today when I was training, you know, I'm not thinking about it. So that's what I
Right,
think
right.
is where
it helps.
Because the first time when I first came back, first month or so especially, it's back in my mind just thinking, well, is something going to happen to my knee?
Yeah.
And but then after a month or so, that
The
just
mental
kind of,
thing,
yeah,
right? You get scared with
That's
injuries
right.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
In this big event, John, 57 years old, dedicated student, really liked to be in the mats. He really put a lot of effort there. Do 2 different martial arts. Still very committed with both of them. Attend to karate classes. Very regular student on the morning class at 7 a.m. John is always there. On top of all the efforts that he put, he also choose to attend the morning classes.
Yeah.
That's make a little harder for people, you know, to wake up 1 hour, 2 hours early to attend the training. So you also cover that area there. You know, John, it's very motivating. It's very like interesting to be around you and absorb your dedication and how much you use these downs in life to overcome better after, you know, because you know, you had a very serious injury in the knee there at the age of 57, family, work, you made it around. And I remember like when you text me like, Bob, I had this bad injury here, and
I remember as
I
well.
was,
Jackson
that
told
was
me.
the first time I was confused. I said like, man, I think we're gonna lose John. I think we're gonna lose you now. I thought I was like half and half.
Yes.
I say John is very, very tough. He knows to go around and and come back. But this is hard.
It's
And the reason that I bring that up is because your knee situation happened 2 years ago. Before that, we had the back problem,
Yeah, that's right.
right? Couple of years ago, John came to me and he told me like, hey Jackson, I'm gonna have to put my membership on hold because I'm gonna have to stop to training because I have sciatic pain, my back's hurting, herniation disc. So he described a problem that I had before, many years before, and that I fixed using foundation training. And then I say, John, let's try foundation training to see how that goes. and he was very stiff, could barely move, and he said, "Oh, there is a solution. The only thing you need, it's a hope.
Yeah, that's right.
You're a person that the
That's
only
it.
thing you need is like somebody come to you and
It's a
say,
little
John,
light. Yeah.
there is a chance for you to get out of it. That's the only thing you need." Because I remember like, hey, foundation training, you say, "Oh, really? What is this? Show me what's this, I want to try." And you tried and you, again, got very dedicated with that, like asking me questions, we sharing videos with each other. And John become out of that problem. The back stopped to hurt. He came back to Jiu-Jitsu full power. And it was another milestone that we conquered there with our back situation. Same thing what I did. He don't have that because he's a young boy. He don't have those kind of
I'm
problems.
doing every day just to avoid. Just to avoid.
And you come behind us, so you know how to do the things right now.
watching,
What we
I'm-
didn't do. We didn't do in the past, right, John?
Hey.
We didn't take care of ourselves
I'm
too much
learning.
with life, and you know it's hard. You're in a different bracket. Okay,
I'm
You're in
privileged,
a-
man. I'm privileged.
You're very, very privileged. So it's for me, it's I have John always like my biggest motivation, because he overcome two big down
Big one, man.
since I know him approximately like 5 years. We've been sharing the mats together and sharing experiences, and you just have to tell this man, you know, like, hey, there is a solution there, and he go and do it. And I think it's very hard for people out there that's listening to us now to take this kind of actions, you know, because yesterday I texted a guy that I know for a long time, and I texted him, I say, hey, it's time for you to come back to Jiu-Jitsu. He came, did a couple of classes, his son do Jiu-Jitsu with me for a long time, and then the grandma that brings his son to the school, say like, hey, why don't you invite him to come back? I think he needs to be here. You know, I don't know what's the personal thing, but she gave me that advice.
Yeah.
Hey, invite him to come. And then I texted him, hey, come, I'm gonna help you as much as I can for you to come back. I'm gonna, everything what I could offer, right? And then he came like with two big excuses already, like in the same text, like 1 minute after, he says, no, I can't do it because I'm overweight, and I don't have time. And I say, hey, and I start to battle him, you know, like breaking those excuses, like, hey, come on, you overweight. He told me that he needs to go to the gym, lose 20 pounds to come training. I say, no, you come to the gym, you do two things together. You lose that weight while you train Jiu-Jitsu. And I know he's a passionate martial artist like us. He did martial arts before, Philippines, knife fight and other martial arts. And he came, tried the class a couple of times, but he never have that determination of yours. You know, like to say like, hey, no, this is okay, I'm 20 pounds overweight. I'm gonna do it there. They tell me there is a solution there. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna join the Jiu-Jitsu class and I'm gonna try it. You know, so.
No, and to add to that, so what is your belief that helps you with that mindset? What is your belief that you were like, okay, I'm gonna think in the long run, I'm gonna go there. Like, what is your belief in your mind, like why you're so determined to just do the things that you have to do?
Well, I've always been very goal oriented, and you know, one thing I want to do is learn jiu-jitsu, and I'm not. When I say goal oriented, it's not to be, you know, best out there or do that. It's just to improve myself and to enjoy it. That's the main thing. I want to enjoy it, and I want to be doing this for the next 20 years.
Right.
I hope I can. And it's a little different because you know, people are gonna have different goals depending on their personality or their age or something like that.
Right.
And what I like about jiu-jitsu, it's you can tailor it to your needs, to your goals, and it's something that, of course, it helps be athletic and explosive and all that. But you can roll with the younger guys and still enjoy it because if you know the knowledge and if you know the techniques,
it will work. It will work regardless of your physical abilities.
And so that's what I like about it, and so it is very, very goal oriented and looking at the long term of, hey, I want to be doing this for years and years and going that way. And you know, you're going to improve by making choices, just like the back. You know, I forgot about that, but you know, I went to see about 3 chiropractors. I went to see an orthopedist. He put me on oral steroids. But
So
then when I got with Jackson,
you tested things.
and within about 2 weeks, it was remarkably, you know,
Coming
better.
out, I remember it was fast. You were like me, you were fast results.
And so it really helped, and all the physical therapy too. I was telling Hoffa before that before I injured my knee, my left knee has a torn meniscus, and I was contemplating getting surgery for that. But you know, I'd read people over 50, it's kind of mixed results, and so I put it off. But all the physical therapy I did for the injured knee helped my other knee, and I feel better than ever has. And so I'm I'm a big believer in that. All these exercises that I never thought you would do that.
Right.
So I tried to do stuff like foundation training or do just squats or RDLs or something like that, and I think that helps.
And I have a picture in my head. Like one day I text John when he had the knee surgery. I text John and I say, "Hey John, how things going?" And he sent me a picture of him on a cast on the knee, doing a founder of foundation training, and he said, "Look, I'm not ready for jiu-jitsu, but I'm already making my back strong here." And he was already working day by day, like doing foundation training while the knee was injured. He was adapting the situation to get something done. Like you can, there's always room for improvement, and I think that's exactly what's your goal-oriented thing. Like you believe that tomorrow you can be better than you are today, and I think that's so valuable, John. I think that's so valuable. That's you share this experience with us, because I'm 44 now, and I had many opportunities to quit before. I have many. And I also have that same determination, like, no, it's gonna be better. It's you get like one day, and comparing this with life, jiu-jitsu and life is the same thing, right? These down things you have in your life, these unexpected situations that you have. In jiu-jitsu happen the same thing, right? You go to the gym, and that day, like you go think, oh man, I'm so excited to train, and you go and then you go to that day and there's a little kid there, and that kid gonna train you too, and he's gonna control you all over. You're not gonna be able to move. You're gonna be like well controlled by somebody younger and smaller than you. And then that day that you had all the expectation in jiu-jitsu, you're gonna have that. It's not gonna be like your best performance there in that day. But come on, it's just another day, like you go, you learn from that kid that's giving you a situation there in jiu-jitsu, like, and another thing that I'm curious to know from you, we met each other before I started to use these programs like we're using now, right? When we met first, I was training jiu-jitsu like most of the jiu-jitsu teachers teach today. Out of their head, they're black belts in jiu-jitsu, they're world champions, they're good competitors, and they open their gyms and they're great. And that was me when we met. I was that guy, like, hey, I'm a black belt, I'm from Brazil, I know jiu-jitsu, and I have a lot to share with you guys. And I believe I had. But then I found that there is something missing on my teaching methodology. I was lacking some elements to make my teaching better, to make it easy for me and for my students. And that's when I joined the organization that we are now studying the programs, curriculum, calendars, everything, much more friendly environment, much more, I try to share this friendship environment in the gym, like to put safety in front of your victory. And how do you feel about that?
I'm a big fan of that, because one, the curriculum just puts some process behind it, and I'm a very analytical person. So,
right.
When I go to the fundamentals class, it might be the sixth time I'm seeing it, but I'm learning something every time.
Yes.
And it's the consistency.
And you always ask questions. I love that. You always have a question here. You always have a curiosity about another move there.
And so that means a lot. And then as far as the culture that you built, I really like that as well, because I'm going there to enjoy myself. And
right.
So like today, we're rolling on passing guard. I don't want to get injured, and so people are they're working hard.
Right.
Nobody's it's not like you're going to sit there and not try or not win, but people are trying to pound you to the ground or trying to injure you. And some people may like that, the competition part of it, but for me, it's perfect. That you're going there, enjoy yourself. You're going there, learn stuff.
And like the risks are minimized to the maximum level.
That's
like the mindset in the gym is much more oriented in this way now. Like never put your performance on top of your partner's friend, in front of your partner, in front of your safety, in front of the safety of the training, and also never train so hard in a way that you're gonna discourage your partner, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's,
I can train it to many people and tap them out 10 times in one row, you know, but sometimes that's not the case. You don't have to do that. And before I used to think different. Before I used to think like the more you tap whoever, the better it was. And it's not, you know, like it's gonna benefit me, but not gonna benefit the person that's there.
Yeah, and the people you're training with, I really feel there's a, you know, we want to see other people do well too. So
exactly.
I think there's that encouragement, and you know, you tap out. Somebody looks at that as negative because it's really not. It's just
and that's a game changer for me that I heard from one of the Gracie families. They always share the focus and the philosophy of not winning the fight. Doesn't matter if you win it or not. You're not trying to force to win it versus someone that is way bigger, way stronger. You're always trying just to not lose, to survive. Get out of there, go back to your family, and just enjoy the rest of your life. That's the victory. Yeah, so having that in the mind, when you start in the beginning as a white belt, your risk of injuries is just super low because you're already entering into, I know that I just have to survive. I know I just don't have to lose. So in that case, I'll just defend as much as I can, not get tapped out, getting less every time. Learn the things that you have to learn, fail here and there forward, like failing forward always. So that way you have that defense so high, so much that you're able to, even when a strong person, give her a hard time, super hard time for them to even control you. And that's the whole situation that this new philosophy when we go to class is exactly what we go through. Is not losing the fight. Is making sure that we survive and then we can go back home. And the things as well that I got from John is little tests in the recovery and from the mindset from before, even with your back problem and with the knee, you always took that mind of testing small things here and there to see how can you recover, and that gave you faith in every single situation. Like, okay, this didn't work, okay, let me try this. You never said no to anything because you knew that one thing was gonna work at the end of the day.
That's right.
And that's super powerful to have someone like that, have that mindset.
That's great. Yes, that's a very good story, and I hope that people out there that they are thinking like they're incapable to do anything. They maybe tried jiu-jitsu. How many people tried jiu-jitsu and got hurt, and that was it? It was the end of the career. And I know that happens so much out there. People go, maybe like in the first class they can get hurt. In the first week, they go with the wrong partner, and something can happen there, and then that's the reason to finish the whole journey in jiu-jitsu, you know, that's supposed to be like for the whole life, gonna be interrupted there because of broken toe or a knee problem, you know. So the life is long. You can always recover and come back, and especially like in the mindset that we have in the gym now, anytime is a good time to come back. You know, you don't feel like you're gonna be left behind, because first you can keep following the programs online if you want. If you're out of the mats, you can still in just going home, review the techniques, review the programs, see look at the calendar where your partners are, and you can follow. And then when you come back, you can just jump in. And I remember before, like when somebody come out of an injury, or somebody like already a blue belt, like you come back from an injury, you know, come to the gym, all the white belts, like, whoa, man, John's coming back, like, hey, John, wanna train? You know, those guys training there, and that was very awkward, like very, very hard to go back, because you know you're gonna have to show a performance, you know. And in the gym now, I don't feel that at all. You know, I don't feel that at all. You come back, like, doesn't matter how many months you're out, you're gonna come back, and everybody gonna put you in the place that you are, gonna respect the conditions that you have in that moment, you know, and gonna support your return instead of use your return that you're out of shape to promote themselves on top of you, you know, the white belt, oh, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna train the jump, and like I remember, like in the past, students training this kind of situation, you know, I see like somebody coming from a travel or moved away for a couple of months or working, come out or partying, you know, like I see like the guys get off like for a month and come back out of shape, and everybody trying to promote themselves on top of them, training together, and then the guy sweep the guy or mountain the guy, like scanning the room to see where I was. If I was watching that, You know, like, oh man, he's mounting John, a white belt, mounting John.
Yeah.
Who cares? We don't care about that anymore. You know, and today's, if that happened, and somebody like, I don't even see that anymore. You know, the student performing scanning for me don't even happen anymore. You know, they are there and they were training without the compromise to show me something. You know, like they don't have to show me anything, and everybody know this. And yeah, it's really nice. I'm very happy with the environment that we have in the gym. I'm very happy to share your story. Very happy to share the mats with you and absorb this determination that you have, John. You know, and I want to use this podcast to see if we can fish Seth to come back to the class. You know, determination. Seth also had some injuries. Seth, by the way, is a friend of mine, a student from a long time. And he's also a very busy man, right? And you guys become friends recently. And Seth always can sneak out. And I know it's hard, you know. I know it's hard for him. But I hope that one day he can train just me, you, him, and Rafael. One class, just four of us. We're gonna go and we're gonna bring him back.
Single class. So
Anything else you guys would like to talk about John's motivational and inspiration? John's my inspiration, and I want to be like him in 57. You know, I really want to be like him.
I was gonna say, I want like John to just share like one last statement to someone that is suffering from that case. It can be injury from back or from knee, but what would you recommend them to just like put their foot and put that toe in the water there for them to start? What would you recommend for them so that they can not even maybe try jiu-jitsu for the first time, or just maybe just like, hey, just come back. Someone that is recovery from the martial arts and then they're thinking about it. They're thinking about it even to try or to just come back. What would you say to them?
I would say go ahead and try it, because jiu-jitsu, if people haven't done it, it is kind of intimidating. Because, you know, you're not used to being on the ground, and you don't know what to expect. It's intimidating. But one, it is, I think, really safe. And the only way things will get better if you have a knee injury, back injury, is to try physical activity and take it at a slow pace, but and be thoughtful about it. But it's not going to get any better by sitting on the couch.
No, it's not.
And that's the key thing. And that's what I said, is that, you know, I knew if I didn't get back and start doing it, after a year, I probably wouldn't be motivated to do anything. So I think, oh, it's too late now. Well,
it's like a
not too
snowball.
late.
You stay, and then you get comfortable, and don't move anymore, and then that's gonna cause you to be a sedentary person and just stay in the house.
And the thing about doing it in jiu-jitsu class, something like that, is you do have a lot of people that are supporting you too. Versus something, if you're, you know, and I know people may go running on their own or biking on their own, but there's something about being in a class where, you know, community that people are going to encourage you to keep going, and you know, you've got the camaraderie to help you along.
And we talked about this the other day too. I think there is these two things in jiu-jitsu that make a very different kind of friendship. Is the super contactful sport. It's a very contactful sport. What breaks a lot of taboos about practicing sport with somebody. And the other thing is the Brazilian warming culture, where jiu-jitsu coming from. You know, we talked about this the other day. So the combination of these two things create a very unique kind of friendship. You know, very unique. You arrive to the class, hey man, what's going on? It's different than if that friendship maybe was from, I don't know, from a yoga class, you know, or CrossFit, you know, like CrossFit or something. Like any other thing, any other sport, like could not generate the same kind of interaction that jiu-jitsu do. You know, it's crazy, man. I realized that recently. We were talking about that in a podcast recently. This combination of these two things really create a unique kind of friendship.
Yeah, and each one is their own community. When we say like comparing to the other ones, it's because the CrossFit, the gym goers, the yoga, the Pilates, like they just go by themselves and just doing the whole thing, just them. But in this one, you need another person. You need to do the technique with another person.
You not just need, you rely on that person. You have to trust them because he can hurt you.
There's a
lot of trust in that little role there, and that little practice can be even a practice in a class, the fundamentals class. There's a lot of trust. Hey, you're gonna get my arm. I trust you. You trust me. You know, protect me. I protect you. We're gonna try to battle each other, but we're still thinking about each other's safety. You know. So it's like you are enemies, but you are best friends at the same time. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Well, you know, that's what I like about the class too. If you look at today's class there, you know, here I am, a 57-year-old white guy working a corporate job. But I'm sitting there interacting with 20-year-olds or 25-year-olds that are different backgrounds and all that. And but it's very comfortable. You know, it's a good deal.
Yeah, it is. It is a
Meet
good
a lot of
deal.
new people.
awesome.
It's really pretty cool.
It's awesome. It's amazing. So we can on that high note. We can on that high note. So it's incredible the whole story, and not only that, but the mindset that you can take from that. So if you're taking something from today, it's just test small, try it out, and if you are stuck in one place, just staying in that same place is not gonna change anything.
Yeah.
So like John said, like just go ahead, get up, try it out for one time, and that will get that momentum going in that activity. And always having that community behind, it's incredible. For someone that is maybe arriving to a new place and arriving to a new town, it's doing jiu-jitsu is a community like instantly. So it's
connected
awesome.
people.
Yeah. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thank you, John. Appreciate. We're gonna end up this podcast here, and I see you guys soon. Thank you very much.
Obrigado.
Thank you.